Hey everybody, welcome to the Multifamily Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Peterson, and today we are continuing our 5-part series on back to the basics. 2021 needs to be your best year. It really does, and it should be, because lots of great things are coming, my friend. Like there's going to be opportunity because of the COVID, right? The COVID has landed, and what I'm going to talk about today is more important than ever in your success in multifamily investing. And today's episode is all about how to find lots of deal flow. Not so much the underwriting. We're not going to talk about that today. We are just going to talk about how to get deal flow. Step one, deal flow. Lots of opportunities of potential deals. How do you get them, and how do you get them to seek you out? And then we're going to really expand on that concept on how to get the right deals, right? So there's a difference between good deals and great deals. And I want to challenge you that, we want great deals, and great deals happen 3 or 4 or 5 times a year when you're looking. So it's not super hard to figure it out. And just want to make sure that you guys are engaged, ready to play, and let's go for it. Before we get too far though, I gotta take the time to give some 5-star review shout outs. Listen, you guys always know that I love it when you do that thing where you go onto iTunes and you leave that review. Brings a smile to my face. And listen, you have been doing it lots and often. I think we are up to 677 reviews. So thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. It does mean a lot. First one comes from Rubilant. Says, Corey is the man. Great show, great content, great operator, great man. Thanks, Corey, for providing so much value. Rubilant, that's what I do, man. I do this thing because I love it. I love giving back and giving you lots of clues and lots of ammo, so you're just not just a one-trick pony. I want to make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze. You know what I'm saying? All right, so the next one comes from Morgan Fielder. Thanks for such great content. He makes it clear how to move forward with intention. Thanks so much for the great podcast. Thank you so much for that. It really does mean a lot. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, this business is not, it's not necessarily hard. It's not easy though. It's work. And so when you guys take the time to let me know that you're getting value, and lots of massive value, from what I talk about, it brings a smile to my face. All right, so let's get buckled up, because we are going to really talk about how to get massive deal flow. So today we're really going to focus on deal flow, right? And now it is different. I truly believe in the game of multifamily investing. It is different from single family. The single family way to get deal flow, I mean, there's lots of ways to do it, but mainly, now I think of wholesalers. A lot of fix and flippers are buying from wholesalers, and wholesalers are primarily doing direct mail marketing and pay per click and all that stuff. And if you send out enough postcards, you can get deals. Now, you can do that too in multifamily. It does work. However, let me just talk about the game for a minute. The game is set up in a way in the multifamily space that, listen, brokers do a lot of this work for you. And I just think it's easier just to find and retain and get great broker relationships. I just think and here's the reason why. So I'm a pretty smart investor. I've owned $95 million worth of apartments. And even if a seller called me and said, hey, I want to buy your deal, and I was like, man, I think I want to sell. Now, I ain't no dum-dum. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to call my broker and say, hey, listen, I need you to do an assessment on my, on my property. Tell me what you think you sell it for, and if it's what I think you should be doing, like what if the amount looks right, I'm going to let you list it, and then I want you to get highest and best and get me the most money. Because that's how rich people play the game. Period. The end. Right? That's, even if I had some John Smith that said, I want to buy your property, all he would do is scratch my curiosity. Now, I'm not saying that you can't get it through direct mail, because I know there's still that 5 or 10% that'll be like, you know what, I just want to work with that guy directly. Now, what I found is this. Direct mail for multifamily tends to work better for the, 5 to, 60 unit type of properties. Great for quads, because that's not typically a super sophisticated operator. Okay, are you feeling me? But to play with the big boys, if you ask the big boys that, own a couple thousand units, how they find their deals, it's going to be pretty much this answer. They're all going to say, yeah, brokers. I get my deals from brokers, because that's the way the game's played in the big boy pond, right? Now, listen, if you want to still, stay the single family greenhouses, that's up to you. But I highly recommend jumping over here to the big stuff and get those red hotels, baby. We're talking about apartments and how you get those deals. All right, so there is no secret, by the way, on how to find deals in the multifamily space, right? There is only one tried and true method to make this happen, by the way. And that is, you have to, my friend, you absolutely have to kiss a lot of frogs, right? You gotta kiss a lot of little baby frogs, big frogs, fat frogs, skinny frogs. You gotta kiss a lot of frogs, and you're hoping that you find, it doesn't turn into a prince. We're gonna say, because I'm a guy, it's got to turn into a princess, okay? But if you're a girl, then it turns into a prince, okay? You got to kiss a lot of frogs, find your prince or princess, whatever it is for you. But you've just got to do the work, and sometimes it ain't pretty. Sometimes it ain't pretty. So, my friend, I don't know where you're at in the day today, but I'm having a great time, and I'm super excited about the opportunities that are coming right now. Like, they're right here. And the reason for this is this. You've got, listen, the big buzzword for the last 2 to 3 years, probably really within the last 2, is all my single family friends, all my brethren, I want to get into multis. I want to get into multis. I want to get into multis. Well, and so they bought, a course or something, but they still kind of fall back in their single family ways. And maybe, and this is, I'm just saying, a lot of them were not really ready for it. In other words, they're not operators. They've really not figured out that the real money's made not in acquisition fees or putting a deal together and closing and raising some of that money, but is really in the underwriting details and operations to make those assumptions that they put in their spreadsheet work. Because can we all agree to that? Can we get a big amen right now? If you're listening right now, can you get an amen to most people are smoking a crack pipe when they're putting in their numbers, and they got to get up. You got to stop doing that, man. You're doing it wrong, and you got to stop it. Listen, this game rewards those who are conservative in nature. It does. It will feed you time and time again for the rest of your life. But you need to understand the game. And most people, there's a lot of people that out there that didn't have the experience, that jumped into it anyways. And now COVID happened, and it's 9 months later. And, for the ones that were smart, that realized that they were not in the game to play right now, they sold immediately. For those who couldn't or shouldn't or needed to but couldn't and wouldn't, they're now 9 months into the process, and maybe they didn't raise enough capital to really get where they needed to go. They maybe, and what happens is once you start slipping, in other words, like your occupancy goes down, your tenant base goes down, you don't have enough money now to rehab, you can't go get any new money because no one wants to give you any more money, your deal's not looking so great. What used to be a bright, shining star is now like, a cracked pipe, and, no one wants to even touch that. Well, that's what's coming down the pipe, my friends. There's a lot of operators out there that didn't quite know what they're doing, and they're looking to sell, and they're looking to get out now. And that's because it's been 9 months, right? For the ones that could hold out, they've held out for as long as they can. And so I think there's going to be about a 3 or 4 month window to kind of get some better deals out there. Even though currently, like the compressed cap rates, the great rent growth, inflation is coming, my friend. Joe Biden, inflation is coming. And so listen, our property values are going to skyrocket. But for those ones that were broken, it's really about micro repositionings, to doing a little bit of works and having that available cash slush fund to bring into deals. But, the first step is to get the deal flow. Okay, now, so I'm going to give you, this is probably the most simplest and easiest podcast that you'll ever hear me do. It's probably going to be the shortest podcast because I'm just going to get right to the point and unlock the door. And all you got to do, behold, I stand at the door and knock. All you got to do is open the door and figure it out. It's not hard, okay? So here is basically, I think it's maybe 4 or 5 steps to getting unlimited deal flow. More deal flow than you'll ever know what to do with. More than you can personally underwrite, probably. And you probably might need to hire yourself a virtual assistant to help really, because the job is to find needles in a haystack. That is the job of underwriting and finding deals, is to sift through a bunch of crap to find the golden nugget, man, to find that choice deal. And listen, a choice deal happens about every 1 in 100. Look at 100 deals, find one great one, right? Or something like that. I mean, whatever it takes. But normally in this business, in this multifamily syndication world, if you could do one deal a trimester, or one a quarter, 4 deals a year, that's cooking, man. Like that's going fast. And if you only did one deal a year, that's still pretty damn good too. Like, it only takes one deal, by the way. I mean, I've talked about this in other podcast episodes, that you're one deal away from legacy wealth. And how do I know this? Is because that's what I did. I took my first deal and, bought it for $3.2 million, raised $1.4 million, sold it 5 years later for $8.8 million, and made $4.7 million, of which, disclaimer, $2.5 million of it was mine to keep. The rest went to my investors. Not bad. $2.5 million. Oh, hello. Come out, roll, baby. That's it, right? That really is the ticket. And so if you can find that deal once a year, and that's all you do, life is grand, my friend. In 5 years, you will live a life like no other, I promise you. Okay, so I know I'm slow playing this because this is not going to be a long episode, right? Because it is not hard to master this process, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to give you a couple ways to nirvana here. The first one is what I call get on the internet version. And then I'm going to give you a advanced method to make this a little faster. Okay, make it a little faster. Now, so find markets that you like. Step number 1. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Midwest and the South are great markets, great areas, great regions. There's lots of great markets. Phoenix is one of them as well. Tucson. Listen, San Antonio. Georgia, the whole state of Georgia. So like find some markets that you really like, understand it. And then what you're going to do is so that's step number 1, find the market, like the city, the area that you like. Step number 2 is you're going to go to loopnet.com. Okay, loopnet.com. And you're going to pull up your city and you're going to put in multifamily. And you're going to look for everybody that's listing a apartment in LoopNet, in that area, in that market. That is your list. Okay, you just found it. You just found the list. That hard, my friends. And you're going to you're going to go find their website. You're going to email these people. You're going to subscribe to every broker's list. Why? Because now you're going to get deal flow. Now you have something to do. Now, that's step number 1, and that's really easy. Okay, that is the easiest part. Anybody can do that. But the next step into really understanding and to get on, there's different levels. Okay, when you subscribe to someone's list, do you think they know or care or do anything about you? Nope. No, they don't. So here's what you're going to do. To get better at this, you're going to underwrite every deal you can, and then you're going to call that broker and you're going to give your feedback of why it may work, why it doesn't work. It does not matter. The only reason you're calling is because of the next step is that you need to create a relationship. Right? And one of the proven way that I've found to create a relationship is by asking this question. I want you guys to, if you're sitting down, write this down. If you're listening, commit it to your memory. But it's a simple phrase. And it's called, what do you do for fun? In other words, hey, John, really appreciate this deal. Man, it's not working out for me. The CapEx is a little too high. This is too light. There's not enough meat on the bone. Here's what I'm seeing in my underwriting. Is this what you have? Great. Yeah. Man, but I really want to be buying in this market. John, really want to be a good buyer for you. I mean, we're actively in this marketplace. And, and then you start talking about, hey, John, are you from the area? Right? Once you start having a little bit of back and forth and you're talking, and then you get out to the point where you got to ask a question like, hey, what do you like to do for fun? What do you guys do out in that marketplace? What do you guys do for fun? What do you do for fun? And he's going or she's going to tell you. And this is where you take dubious notes. John likes football. He particularly likes, Tom Brady. Let's use Tom Brady, right? And so all of a sudden, now every time you call John, you're like, dude, did you see what Tom Brady did? Right? He's going back to the Super Bowl. Right? Or whatever. Right? And golf, you name it. You start asking questions. And so that becomes your open. Right? That's the thing you lead with before you talk about anything else down in the future. Once you know some things like that, that is how you build a relationship with, is when you have something else to talk about other than stupid ass work. No one cares about work. Everybody hates it, by the way. All brokers, understand, do you understand that a broker is working for free until you close? Like, that's the setup. What a crazy way to do it. They work for free until you close, and then they get a paycheck. And then they got to split it with like about 4 or 5 other people. You just want to talk about depressing, right? They're already pissed off. And this is why they're so good at weeding all you newbies out, right? They're professionals at it. Their job is to be, snobby and like whatever, right? To blow off all you diehards, the noobs that ain't educated and don't have any spine. They'll sniff you out. They're good at it. I'm going to have a broker on. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call one of my buddies, Alex Blavojevic, and have him on. This is going to be a great future podcasts that we're going to do. Because I already know, man. I know what he's going to say, and he's just going to be brutally honest. Because that's their game. Oh, man, it's truthful in here today. Let me tell you. Gosh, damn. So the job is, to get on the broker short list, guys. That is the job, right? That is part of the... So you go to LoopNet. You find the market you want, get all the brokers, underwrite the deals, call the brokers back, get feedback, and eventually get to where you can ask them this one question: what do you like to do for fun, right? And now you're on your way, right? Because in the beginning, you're going to get the crap deals, the shit deals, the deals that no one cares about, the deals they know no one else will buy, but they're going to see if you're the idiot that will do it. Yeah, that's what they're looking for. And they want to see if you are the juice that's worth the squeeze. Are you going to bring them to their next paycheck? Or are you a fool that will always get them paid? Brokers keep track. They know, where's this person easy to work with? Did they transact? Was it hard? Was it easy? All that stuff. Like, the goal is to make it easy for the brokers to know, like, and trust you. That is how you get this game. So I believe that you should do this, right? I think you should pick a 3-state region, and then you're going to subscribe to every broker's list. You're going to underwrite the deals. Again, you're going to call and give feedback. And then here's a new step, a new addition to that is to go to the markets and meet the brokers. Yeah, go spend a little bit of cash. And listen, this is money well spent, my friends. Most people are not willing to do this step, and they're idiots. They're freaking idiots. They think their stuff's so good that they forget about the human element to this business. And that's relationships, man. That's this business. All of it. Between money and brokers and vendors, all of it's relationships, man. I get worked up because I see so many people that don't get it. Don't let that be you. You're listening to this podcast right now, and I know you need it, man. I know you need it, and you want it. So go get it. Don't wait. Take the time. Do the work. I'm giving you the recipe, and it's a great recipe. It's an award-winning recipe, my friends. 5 stars. Michelin rating. It works. Why? It's worked in my life. I'm telling you. And I started from nothing. So don't try to get smart about it and just do the damn work. You'll be happy that you did. Okay? So go to the markets. Set up site visits at every place. Stay for 3 or 4 days. Ask lots of questions. Act like you're the FNG, even though you don't want to act like you're FNG, right? They're freaking new guy. But you want to be like, hey, listen, I'm really trying to break into this market, and I don't know anything about it. Do it like that. Not new to the game, but new to the market. And ask them lots of, what's the good areas? What's the bad areas? What areas of town do you like? Why? What's the cap rate? Is the cap rate different in B assets versus C assets? And on this side of town or that side of town? Like, be inquisitive. Find out how much they know. How long have they been doing this business? And then more importantly, what do they like to do for fun? Right? That piece right there is the gold, guys. That is the gold. If you get there, right, leave a 5-star review and tell me about it. Tell me about how you got the gold. Tell me how you deepened that relationship and it led to a gold mine. Because that's what it does. I promise you, that's what it does. When you've got great relationships with brokers, they know, like, and trust you, and they know you can perform. And in the beginning, you don't have as much. It's a little bit harder. But when you get there, guys, Oh, man, it is not even fair. It's not fair, right? Because this business rewards relationships. It still is the good old boys game, or good old girls, because it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl or a man or a woman. It rewards us equally if you put in the effort and you get to know people. At the end of the day, we are in the people business. And once you realize that and understand that that is the equity that we're talking about, that is the cash. It's relationships. It's not anything else. There's nothing more powerful than that. And when you know and understand that, you can take that information. Oh, you know what? I wanted to give you an easier step. I told you I'd give you 2 routes to Yuma. The first route was what I just talked about. Now, route 2 is even better, in my opinion. So listen, LoopNet's okay, but LoopNet's kind of like a trash can, okay? In the beginning, I used to not have CoStar. I have CoStar now. But in the beginning, I didn't have CoStar, but I knew people that did, AKA my mortgage broker. So I use Aaron Mole. He's with Berkadia Finance. I have all the resources known to Berkadia, and they do a lot of research. And so I called them up and I said, hey, Aaron, and if you want to know Aaron, go look for my podcast that I did with Aaron. He gives out his information, by the way. Okay. So I'm not sure what episode that is. I'll have my people find that episode and put it in the show notes. So find that deal with Aaron, and you can get to know him as well. I called up Aaron and I said, hey, listen, I'm looking for these 3 markets, and here's what I want you to do is I want you to go through all the sold listings from the last year and give me all those brokers that sold multifamily apartments over 100 units. And so then I got a great, clean, clear list of their emails and their phone numbers just delivered to me on a platter. I didn't have to even go try to figure it out or do any of the research or any of the work, because Aaron understands the value of relationships, and he just called his assistant. He has staff and team, and they did this work and they gave it to me, and I'm able to utilize it and use it. And that's how the game's played. And he'll do it for you too, I'm sure. And that's how you can create a relationship with not only the brokers, but a mortgage broker as well. That happens to be a DUS lender. So for all your Freddie, Fannie needs, this guy is a direct lender for that. Plus he can still do brokerage stuff too. So isn't that cool, right? Listen, I'm giving you nothing but gold today, my friends. It is Kahuna land today, sunsets and palm trees. I'm hitting on all cylinders, man. I'm feeling it. And you need to be feeling it too, because 2021 is going to be great. It is like, I'm so super excited right now, because tomorrow I'm going to outside of St. Louis to look at a bank-owned student housing deal that was built in 2014. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. This has so much value, and it's like the right time. It's the right, we understand student, we're good at it. Yeah, we have some properties that are struggling right now, but I understand that that's a short-term process. We already know that students coming back, and if we can get the right asset, the right price, and bank-owned is usually a pretty good price, my friends. And the student is still scaring a lot of investors. So but I know it well and I understand it, so I ain't afraid. And listen, I'll probably raise some extra money to make sure that I can float it for a year, or float, the difference for a year, another whole school cycle, to make sure I win. And so I see these opportunities coming. I know they're coming. And I want to inspire you that you can go get yours. It really is your belief. The belief of what you do, how you do it, is more important now than ever. Guys, I'm telling you right now, if you will take your time and say today's the day that I'm not going to fail. From here on out, I will never quit. I will focus on the multifamily way. I will be living my sunsets and palm trees life. Say it right now. Say it today. Say it, I'm willing. I'm willing to do the work. Guys, if you believe it, you can achieve it. And your paradise is absolutely possible.